Hello and welcome back to All Things Real Time. I'm once again joined by Lorimbo here to talk us through the first game of his finals matches against Theory. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Boy, is this a banger of a game. So
I
let's
did catch
talk.
this one live. I saw this one live. Definitely a banger.
So this is actually amazing. Theory has developed with his friend Albino a new way of opening. The idea is still to go for Vault and Conclave, but he goes Conclave first, breaks down the trees, gets a Vault, and then immediately goes for my speed instead of his own. So normally the speeds are split, but with this, he tries to contest my speed camp instead of going for his own. This is a bit... It can be a bit problematic. I don't like this opening that much for a couple of reasons, but that you have to give it to him. There is a lot of potential here. You can pull through, and if you manage to pull the speed cap before your opponent, you can get a lot of advantages. We talked about how important speed camps can be in this matchup. So stealing one from your opponent, preventing him from getting it yourself, will allow you to snowball the game out of control. I'm completely clueless about this. I'm just chilling and going for my own camp. I even fuck it up, so my poor brute is low. I should have said I'm blue, of course, and Theory is red here. So you can see how quick his Gaunt is. He's gonna pull immediately. He doesn't really want to fight it right now. He's gonna use the slowing plant to kite backwards. He just wants to kite a bit. I also fuck it up. This would have been great, actually. I could have... this is one of the weaknesses of the build. That I could have gone here and fought with him for it. But unfortunately, that was a mistake, a misclick by my part. So I'm just completely cruising. And by the time I arrive here, he already has Fiends coming out. Which is
mentioning
terrible.
that it's whoever infests first gets the Fiends, right? So even if you come through and hit that, hit the creep, hit the goat, he will still get the Fiend. So now he's probably way out of position.
You focus on his Gaunt. So at this point, I'm already thinking, okay, this game is over. He has such a good advantage. It's gonna be really hard, especially notice the position of my Conclave. It can be easily sniped. He could just rush in and kill my Conclave. So I'm a bit sketchy here. I'm not quite sure how I want to approach it. My idea was, let's try to get the other speed camp as soon as possible, and maybe we can contest it that way. At the same time, I'm gonna get my own resource camp first. At the same time, he's getting the 2 resource cap in the middle, and here I think this is the biggest mistake that he makes in the early game. Going for this resource cap instead of trying to deny my other speed camp could have been better for him. I'm not even feeling confident going for my speed camp myself, so just take the vision camp and try to escape. But I get caught out here a bit. Luckily, I know that the 2 brutes still win this fight, so I managed to defend almost everything and escape. Trying to run away. I get caught up a bit. Good split on the brute that I miss. Fuck my life. But I do not miss this one. And now suddenly my links are on top of his goats. And this, I managed to snowball this game. I just managed to barely micro by microing the links on top of his goats. So suddenly the situation is not looking so good for him. We are both expanding at the same time. I pop the brute to get some more economy going, but he's still very ahead. Look at his expansion time compared to mine.
Yeah, it's really crazy how these, fights snowball one way and then really quickly snowball the other. Mostly just like you said around that infest mechanic, but around the DPS of the Gaunt compared to the Fiend. You know, once you get a Fiend on top of a Gaunt, it's really in trouble. So Theory, didn't really manage to snowball his early lead as much as he maybe should have. I think you're right. I think when he was in the middle of the map, he took these 2 camps and then turned around to go for the resource camp in this way. If he'd gone straight across and just tried to contest both speeds, gone up to 10 free Fiends from taking both camps, I think maybe then there's no way you get back into this game at all.
Absolutely. But now I'm feeling a bit better about myself. Now I'm still not exactly ahead. You have to consider that my time, look at this timing. His natural has been done for 20 seconds. Mine is not even close to being done. I'm so behind still. So here I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, he sent the 2 Fiends across the map and mine through your trees and then tries to proxy 2 turrets in your base.
No, one of those is mine. One of those is mine.
Okay, I think you ate
that one is mine.
turret.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I clicked because I couldn't, because unfortunately the colors are not too clear for my poor eyes, so I mistakenly attacked my own.
On building turrets, I think there isn't a color difference, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. So I was really confused by this.
It's an interesting move. He bought himself quite a lot of time because he forced your whole army back home when you were previously like right outside his base.
The thing is, in game, I don't even realize how behind I am in economy. I think I'm maybe like slightly behind. I got tasked at one point and say like, I think I'm slightly behind, but I was very behind in economy. So here, I really don't like the depot here. It helps him get the result camp, but it just makes 3 extra fins for me for no reason. And luckily, I managed to spot the Doombringer, so I know that there is a fin drop coming. Luckily for me, it showed him. If he hadn't F2'd here, the game could have gone in a completely different direction. I also don't have this vision camp. This is his vision camp, so he can dodge my army very easily and manage to sneak by. I'm expanding. I'm taking a turn. My turn is actually quicker than his, because I managed to get a bit of map control back. I'm trying to go for some quick greedy expansion. He has tier 2 much earlier and he's going for this drop. So it's a good move on his part, but luckily for me, I had seen it. So he tries to drop it here.
Yeah, but your army isn't on the map. It isn't completely out of position. I think this is Fiends with some Gaunts. Yeah, even mostly Gaunts. These drops are really scary, right? Because they infest your Imps and give him a lot more Fiends to play with. You know, he drops, you know, let's say 7 Gaunts, but he ends up with like 7 Gaunts
so here
and 10 Fiends.
This is the biggest counter. You can use the summoned turret to kill a drop really quickly. Unfortunately for me, his micro was on point, but then he just forgets to put his units in, so he loses everything. I was really confused about this moment. A bit of his micro, but doesn't matter too much because he's already taking up 2 Magmadons, and he's taking a third. I think he's taking the wrong third here. I've been debating whether or not this third is better or not. I like the one with more gas, but yeah, I get his point. This is a bit more exposed. It pulls you apart. It's way harder to defend, but the trees, especially if the trees are open. Like if the trees are open, I think you take triangle anyway. Because at that point you might as well, right? Otherwise, I can always backstab.
He's quicker to Magmadons in this game, right? You don't have any out yet. Yeah. So once again, you're kind of playing from behind in terms of tech.
Absolutely. I do this mistake all the time. I just don't want to spend the 200 Illuminate. I always want to get more. Always want to get more workers instead, or at extra base. So the Magmadons are really scary. But luckily for me, my opponent once again does not realize. Well, it's only 1 Magmadon, so it's not that bad, to be honest, because I have way more army.
Losing all of the Gaunts in your base was really, really bad here. Imagine there's like 8 more Gaunts with this. I think that's way more scary.
Absolutely.
I think it's possible there was because I know in terms of loading the Doombringer, the dropship, there's a lot of like weirdness, clunkiness, and like bugs associated with it. I've seen a lot of bug reports, so it could be that it wasn't like a micro mistake, but just like an actual, you know, game thing. But
it goes for my natural here. He has the combo of Gaunts plus the Magmadon killing a lot of things, but he does lose the dropship. So all of this army is now dead at this point. At the same time, he's attacking all my turret. I do not notice this in game. He gets on top of my army, gets an infest off. It's a disaster. Oh, these are gonna spawn so many fins. It's such a disaster. So I quickly try to somehow catch up. I have my own Magmadons now. So my idea here is, okay, as long as I can kill his army, I can try to all in and come back into this game. So I managed to get a good trample on top of his Gaunts. I managed to get my Fins on top of his Gaunts and my Brutes on top of his Gaunts. But I lose all of the economy. And now I'm like, okay, it's now or never. I have to get some damage now, because there is so little I can actually do economy-wise. He has better tech, better economy, better everything. He knows this too, he's trying to defend desperately. So I'm gonna try to attack. I do notice, I don't know why I take this vision camp. It's so troll by me. I need to attack right now. Time, right? Yeah. Completely waste of time. For what, 2 Fins? No, that's so troll. I do realize that he has a base there. I do send some Fins, you're gonna see. Yeah, I sent 3 Fins to kill that base. You don't really need that many Fins to kill a base if you cannot defend it. So there is no reason to waste my army there. I try to find a position. I get some extra free Fins from the Felog, but this is such a weird position to attack into. I get a good trample, I think, here, if I remember correctly. But
straight
this trample is really good. And I managed to dodge his trample too. I don't have the upgrade yet, which is a big problem. I think he does, so this is really bad for me. But I do have more Magmanos. It takes a very bad fight here. All of his guns are dead. I managed to get a semi-surround on most of his units. I'm rebuilding economy here. I drop up the turret to help me out push. I still have some Magmadons left. I use the consumability on the Magmadon to make it last slightly longer. And once again I go for the Gaunt. Killing the DPS behind the Infest utility is really good. And this, I'm trying to do as much damage as possible here, just trying desperately to come back. I think I have a window, but now I realize I really don't. Unfortunately, thanks to his superior use of the recharge ability and the fact that he has the production right there, it's impossible for me to do, and now I'm desperately on the retreat. But I do have a secret weapon. I have, at this point, enough Animus and enough resources to go for a dragon, and that becomes my new plan. Now, I had thought that I had slightly more units, but if you actually check, I have maybe a Magmadon and a Brute. Yeah, because I lost so many, like a Magmadon and a Gaunt or something.
Yeah, that's your whole army right now.
Yeah, this is my whole army. So I'm completely dead here. I'm like, oh shit. But I'm like, okay, until I show the dragon, he cannot know that I spent all of these resources in that, right?
Yeah, he has to assume that you have loads more guns, loads more mags,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, maybe that way I can get at least like a couple of Magmanos that way. And then when you're defending, even if you have less Magmanos, it's always easier because you get the choke, etc., right? So now I feel confident enough that I have a couple more Magmanos to send the dragon. And okay, in my defense, I never use the dragon. I'm bad with it, okay? I genuinely don't know how the fuck you ever lose a dragon to guns. I think it's impossible. You have to be trying. But I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, he uses the trample ability. He abuses the bug abuser. He uses the trample ability to hit air. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, that explains it a bit at least. And the Infest kills the dragon and gives him a fin. I don't know how that happened.
Now we're in a lot of trouble. You have 4 mags and 5 mags and some gaunts. His army is so much bigger at this point.
It doesn't have that many Magmadons likely, so I think the biggest mistake that he makes in this game consistently is that he overmakes gaunts and undermakes Magmadons and brutes.
So much gas mining coming through from this base, that's crazy.
Yes, but I was really worried about this base, and you're gonna see that the whole game will revolve for a while around that base, or rather I use it as collateral, let's put it this way. So here I see that it doesn't actually have that many Magmadons. So despite having the smaller army, I actually think I win this fight every single time. He just doesn't have, he has like what, 1 Magmadon, I have 5. So he uses 1 Magmadon. Oh, he has 2 Magmadons actually. Yeah, I managed to get once again a very good Magmadon in the middle of his fight. This is a complete disaster for him. This is the biggest mistake of the entire game. I jump on top of his army, I managed to get so much value, and now I see the dragon. Fuck! Not again! I've already lost to Liz playing like this. I'm like, there is no way he loses the dragon to... Like, look how many fins he's getting. There is no way he loses the dragon to Gaunt, like because it's not that dumb. Because that's not that dumb.
He's also faster into the Shadow Player, so he's gonna like kind of stop your dragon if you try and counter dragon.
Yeah, it was already getting to the Shadow Player because of my dragon. It eventually didn't need to, but it still had the tech for it. I have a fort. I split all of my links in, and while I try to harass his double gas, because I have to deny it. I have to deny it somehow, some way. I cannot keep this game going out of control like this. I'm getting completely blasted right now. It's such a bad game. Ah, the dragon! I always forget about the dragon. So now I'm going mass gaunt because I need the dragon to kill the dragon. I dropped the thing. I'm like, oh, maybe I get a good magma charge on the right side. I'm like, okay, maybe we can do something, you know. But unfortunately, I just don't like. He's so good at using the dragon compared to me. I don't use the dragon much. I try to end my games before that. So it just never loses it. He gets so much value out of it. And eventually I have to retreat. He managed to destroy the base, and
yeah, he summoned a
like,
black hole there, hoping one of your units fall down.
Yeah. This actually happened in game too, by the way. This is not a replay bug. This actually happened in replay. Because I was so confused. So I tried to make another base and push at the same time. I do manage to get at least on top of the goals and kill everything.
Yeah, this is not looking too bad now. I think he's overplayed his hand here a little bit.
Yeah, definitely overplayed. He's also committing a lot into... He committed to a lot of Shadow Fiends, which didn't really pay off. They just died to my Gons. Because I don't have a dragon, right? So he was playing... Now I'm going for my own Shadow Fiends. And this is where the game becomes... Oh, how much do you like Link Bane versus Link Bane? Well, this is Link Bane versus Link Bane, but flying. So all of the Scourge units one-shot each other. Okay? So if I get one Scourge on his 10 Scourges, everything dies. And I win the trade by a lot. Right? So even despite the fact that he has more Shadow Fiends, there's still a lot of potential for counterplay. It's so volatile. I tried to get some value here, like we're just, you know, like sniffing each other. We trade the Shadow Fiends. I managed to get on top of his goons again. I'm still fighting with the chicken, I don't know why. And the resource camp, why not? Why not?
Right? Because take the vision orb either.
Yep. Because I'm fucking dumb. I think we might have... Wait, where is that I actually attacked the base? I don't know if I did it already and it stopped, or I think I do it now. Yeah,
no. Lost any units up here.
Yeah. I think maybe I do it now. Anyway, I'm back on the retreat again. I'm like, this game is going out of control. I don't know what I can do. It does have double gas, but it's actually not that ahead. Because in fact, in number of mining things, we are equal, except that one. For some, well, that's not really efficient.
This one yet, yeah.
Because my third has a gas and this third doesn't, right? So he has three minerals and 3 gases. No, 4 gases, and I have 3 minerals and 3 gases. No, he has 2 minerals and is getting a third one. So we have more or less the same economy, despite everything. Unfortunately, here I get my own Drake in a while. I'm like, okay, I need to get my own Drake. So then with Drake and Shadowfiend against Drake and Shadowfiend, once again it goes for the same mistake here. All of the Shadowfiend die. Nice. He overcommits a bit on top of my army, and I think he's going for mostly flying units because it's a lot of gas, but not as much minerals. So this is why I'm saying when I said not that bad. Also, I managed to get on top of this vision camp, so I get it. I noticed that the base is looking a bit undefended, so I jump all of my fins on top of it. And I even use the ability to spawn my own turret, which out DPS sees. He also uses his one, but unfortunately his one does not cover mine. You see, he cannot hit it. So a bit unfortunate. My tower is getting a lot of damage and then I'm mining. Okay, I told you this game was gonna be exciting. So I managed to kill like maybe 20 workers here, something like that. Very effective thing. Yeah, I was really happy about that. But unfortunately, the main army is still going on. I have a Droid of my own here. Eventually I managed to get my own. Yeah, Shadow Fiends. And I have Goons. But, this was such a tiring and stressful game at this point. I'm like, okay, can I push? And I notice it doesn't have that much ground. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can push. Then he gets... Wow, I'm so good at this game. He managed to kill all...
Yeah, you get the dragon. I don't know what you're meant to do there, to be honest. If he just right-clicks his...
you can always escape. And then I see a second dragon! Ah! I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm like, okay, but I denied the other base. I managed to deny so much money. It doesn't have, like, the dragon are so slow, right? I have a shit ton of brutes. It takes forever for him to actually kill brutes. Especially if I keep investing and getting fins over fins from the workers, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I can deny this. Like, there's some counterplay, okay? Because right now, he's starved for minerals. For luminite, I mean, of course. He doesn't. I have 3 fully mining bases of minerals. He has 2, and one of them is about to run out, which is natural because he took it way earlier than mine. Remember that, right? So this is starting to mine out. He's not actually mining anything extra because I still have 4 bases, and that's now it's on 3 because this one got denied so hard. It just has the dragon, so I'm like, oh, okay. I managed to get a good snipe here on his dragon. with my Shadow Fiends. I'm like, okay. It just has dragons and Shadow Fiends. It will never ever be able to afford winning the ground fight. I just have too much minerals here. I can go infinite amount of brutes, infinite amount of magmadons. I can just afford goats to win the air fight. So as long as I just ignore the hair and keep making shadow flyers, it's just like to just dodge them and like micro around them. I can just kill everything at the same time, right? So that's the plan here. I'm going full all in at the same time. I'm trying to get bases on the other side. I'm trying to get my own double gas here. I managed to get one. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. Like, okay, maybe I'm winning, right? Because I've denied the base on the left. I've denied the base on the right. It just has a dragon, but it just doesn't have that much health. And I have my own things. This is what you're supposed to do, by the way. You can escape. It's not impossible to escape. I just didn't have the reflex. I drop another. With the vision camp, you can do this again. This is so annoying. This is so annoying. The fact that you can do this. It's kind of a bug. It's kind of in there that I'm not really sure.
That's his natural mineral line mined out now.
Yep,
He's
as I said.
in a really bad economic spot.
Yeah.
So at this point, are you thinking like just to keep flooding, kind of like you are with the brutes?
Yes.
Or are you kind of saving up for the dragon? Because I'm not really seeing where your gas is going.
No. All in magmadons and brutes. I don't have that much gas. My gases are manned out. That's why I'm taking the extra too. Okay. Yeah. I'm manning out. I'm basically mostly shadow fiends. That all of my gas is going to shadow fight, and all of my minas in brutes and goats. So basically, it's the same idea. If you link flood against a void ray, the void ray eventually kills everything, but you also kill everything before the void rays can do anything, right? So in this thing, I knew from my StarCraft experience that just because you have the air superiority doesn't necessarily mean that you win the fight. It only means that you win the fight eventually, but it depends how much damage you get, right? So I just kept flooding units, trying to do as much damage, killing bases and stuff. His main is now useless, so it's really on 2 bases. He has gotten the gas back, but he just doesn't have any minerals. That's the biggest problem with his strategy right now. So you can't build anything with pure gas in this game. I guess Shadow Fiends maybe. And now I'm just chasing, and eventually I managed to get on top of his last dragon and kill it. And if I remember correctly, this is more or less the point. There are magmadons on the left, if you see, where he leaves the game after 22 minutes.
What a banger.
What a
so
banger.
How many dragons was that total?
I think 4 or 5, if I remember. Because I think I also had a dragon somewhere at this point. But I don't remember. I'm not too sure. So
that's it for game 1. Do you want to spoil how the series played out? You played all 5 games, right?
Yeah, we played all 5 games. He went to he won 3-2. But I will say, 2 of the games he won on a, let's call it, suboptimal map, which encourages very snowbally gameplay. So I lost, unfortunately, all the games that I lost were quick losses. He's really good at his aggressive plays, and I just died to 1 base audience 3 times. The other game, one of them, I was so ahead, and then he dropped he cannon rushed me. Actually, he dropped a bunch of turrets and managed to steal a win that way. That's also a banger of a match. Maybe one day I will cast it. But eventually he does get the victory. And but I'm still really happy about my result, actually. Because I proved that he's one of the best players in the world right now.
Yeah, he went on to win the American server tournament as well, right? So,
yeah, he won both tournaments, actually. So I think I proved that I'm a qualified player and I know what I'm talking about. I think I showed that in a macro game I don't have anything to fear, even from the players at the top of the ladder. But this game and the Lysergic one I think are pretty cool. So I'm pretty happy about my result, actually. I also I don't know if you know this, but this guarantees me qualifying for the final for the end of the first season of the Alpha Navigator Cup. There's gonna be like a top 16 by points, depending on the results of the previous 8, are gonna qualify for a super tournament. Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
And that's we're calling it Season 0, right? Or but Adico, the organizer's calling it Season 0.
I mean, I don't know if you want to call it Season 1, Season 0. It's the first season anyway, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this game. I think it's a banger. Stormgate is really fun. You guys should try it out.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe!